sun is out once again, the day is bright, the future's bright, things are looking good. Who doesn't love a little bit of sunshine? And who really wants to go back to dark and murky? But the truth is that there are elements of dark and murky which are just part of real life. And there's a fascinating lesson right at the end of our parasha which we can learn from the mixture perhaps of things being bright and clear on the one hand and things being a little bit unclear and murky on the other. The last few verses of Parashat Shalach introduce to us the mitzvah of tzitzit. Tzitzit are, of course, we put on the corners of a four-cornered garment, and although nowadays they're always white, or almost always white, traditionally, once upon a time, and people still practice this a little bit today, you would mix in with the white strings some blue strings as well. It has to be a very, very specific type of dye, a sort of bluish, blackish, and it often looks blue on the strings, but this mixture of the blue and white is also the source for the blue and white of the Israeli flag. And if we look deeper into the message behind this, I think we see a very, very important combination which is at the core of life itself. White represents, as we said, that brightness, that clarity, that vision, that ability to see far away, that ability to understand things as perfectly as human beings very often are able to do. Really, really impressive to be able to plumb the depths and to really figure out what things mean and to get to the core and the crux, scientific inventions, and really what has enabled us to, thank God, produce a vaccine in such a short amount of time and be able to find our way out of a challenging 2020 and into hopefully a more positive 2021. Blue, on the other hand, our Torah tells us, blue in this particular context reminds us of the sea, reminds us of the heavens, reminds us of those murky depths, the depths of the sea which no one really knows what is going on deep down into the sea. As much as we have plumbed so many of the depths of this world, we don't really know what's going on at the bottom of the sea. There's so many creatures yet undiscovered, so many parts of the ocean which we still don't know what's going on. There's so much in the sky, so much beyond this world which we have yet to discover as well. Even though we're discovering all the time, there's so much more for us to yet conquer and for us to yet understand and really be able to figure out. And that is all represented in the Techelet, in this blue, in this murky color, this unclear, very, very different, in stark contrast to the brightness of the white of the Lavan. What is the message? Rabbi Soloveitchik explains that there are parts of life which are clear, there are parts of life which are bright, which are white, which are there for us to understand. And certainly the Torah expects of us as human beings to maximize our potential, to be able to understand things as well as we possibly can, and to use our scientific advances to better ourselves and to better this world. But we also have to appreciate that there are parts of life that we don't understand, that there are parts of this world that we perhaps don't fully get, and even within those murky depths, that trust, that bitachon, that emunah, that belief, that deep-seated belief that comes from a place perhaps of not necessarily understanding, not necessarily knowing fully what exactly the next step is going to hold, but being able to trust that the Almighty is guiding us along that way is also crucial to our path in life. While many, many times we know where we want to go, while many times we may be able to predict a lot, predict the weather, try to predict the weather a lot of the time, we also don't really know what the future is going to hold. While we try our best to have scientific advances which are going to make us as technologically advanced as possible, there are also obstacles that we're always going to come across. There are always things that we are not going to understand, that we're going to struggle with, that we're going to come up against the next challenge. And in order to face those challenges, in order to face the difficulties, in order to face the darkness and the murkiness and the parts which are more difficult for us to perhaps grasp a hold of, that requires our faith. That requires the emunah, that belief. And it is the combination of the blue and the white, the combination of the Techelet and the Lavan, the combination of the murky depths that require our trust, together with the brightness of the white, which talk about our ability to understand and our ability to understand things better than we perhaps did in the past. That is the key to our success, not just as human beings, but as a Jewish nation. The importance of combining our ability to understand and our ability to advance our knowledge, together with our trust that there are always parts that we don't understand, is the only way that we will be able to move forward. And as I said, is at the core of our Jewish identity, and of course at the core of our wonderful state of Israel, and encapsulated in that blue and white. Shabbat Shalom.